Hello, hello, my friends. Once again, it is your hostess with mostess, Julie Vaughn, coming at you today. And I don't know if you can see behind me, but it is a frigid winter day here in Western Pennsylvania. And I know that all of us across the United States, we are all feeling it, right? Um, it's been really cold. And those of you in the South that I've never seen in winter coats, I've been seeing it all over YouTube. Right? You're wearing winter coats in Florida. I mean, oh my gosh. And I heard today that Oregon is expecting some really heavy ice, like an inch of ice overnight. Before I start anything, please, wherever you are, please stay safe. Take care of yourselves, take care of your family, stay warm, and please, 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 since we have to stay inside, why don't we talk for a while? I love it, right? Here we are. So, my topic today is going to be management. Friend or foe? All right, this is a good topic. And I did a little research on it, but I'm a little too full. Okay, and here's why. I went through a lot of therapy because of one of the topics we're going to talk about under this main topic. And I'll go into it deeper, but a part of this is a little bit hard for me, but that made me want to talk to you about this even more because here's why. Anything that I've learned in my life, I believe in paying it forward. Good or bad, it's informational. And I believe that if we're educated, if we hear other stories and know we're not alone, that can be the best help sometimes. And that's what I'm going with today. So, when we're talking about management, friend or foe, there wasn't a whole lot I found on the internet, believe it or not, about this topic. But I will tell you this. It boiled down to one word, which surprised me, kind of surprised me, that I'm going to break down into 4 different categories. The main word I'm going to talk about is trust, right? That's not too outlandish. And if you think about it in a nutshell, we all want management that we can trust. We're putting our lives into a professional environment. We want to earn money for our family, for ourselves, just to live our lives. But when that management goes from friend to foe, or if it's an incredibly toxic environment, it can really make things tough in getting through day to day. So let's start out here. All right, there's 4 things. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 things that we're going to talk about today under trust for management. Number 1, are they kind? Are they kind people? And a lot of it, boils down to their personality. Are they kind? The second thing is integrity. Are they ethical? That's the tough one for me. We'll get into that one pretty deep. The third thing is competence. Do you get a sense of confidence from them? Can they communicate well? Are they well educated? Do they have good experience? Are they pulling from that experience to help your team and to help your company? Do the best. What's in the best interest for everyone? Are they a good leader because of that? And the final thing is predictability. Predictability, which, quite frankly, is the funniest one of the 4. And I'll probably be giggling a lot whenever I go through that, but that's either here or there at this point. So let's start out with the first one, shall we? Are they kind? And I have my notes here, so you'll notice I'm looking down just to look at my notes. But I know that my grandmother, God rest her soul, always said, and I'm sure your grandparents said it too, you can always get more bees with honey than you can with vinegar. That's a lot of wisdom. Back then, Some of these our elders knew what they were talking about because they went through some really hard times. And she was right. If you're kind to someone and they're supportive and they smile at you and they have a positive attitude, you know, and you just get that, they exude that feeling like, we got this, like what we have here, on this channel. We got this, you know, that makes you want to work hard. That makes you want to do your best for the management, for your company, for what they're doing. I'm doing a job now I believe in more than just that. But I have been blessed in my current job with so many bosses who have been so kind and generous and respectful to me as a human being. And we all know that's what we want. We want to feel that. It makes us want to do more and it makes us want to care. But then you have the flip side of the unkind people. Now, you might be a little surprised where I go with this, but stick with me here. Okay. You always want to be treated the way the way you treat people, that's how you want to be treated, right? That's the way we all feel. If we're kind to people, we expect that back. That's fair, right? It doesn't always happen, does it? If you have management that is cruel, demeaning, nasty, arrogant, how do you feel about doing your best for them? Doesn't make you really want to go that far, does it? If they don't have so much of a work attitude, it's more of a me attitude. You're going to be surprised maybe by what I'm going to say next. But here's the thing. I've come to learn over the years, and it took me a long time. So, go easy on yourself if you feel this way or don't feel this way, because it took me a long time to get there. A lot of times when management is unkind, unscrupulous, whatever word you want to use, it's because that's all they know. We don't know each other's stories. We don't know each other's backgrounds. Just because they're in a management position doesn't mean they're perfect. A lot of them, they don't know how to be kind. They were never taught how to be kind. They were taught, it's all about you. Doesn't matter how you treat everybody else. Make that bottom line. Make that money. That dollar amount's all that matters. It doesn't matter how you get there. Just get there. Those aren't the managers that we want to have, is it? And they're out there. And you may be surprised that I say I feel sorry for them, because for a long time I hated them. Hated them. And I don't even like the word hate. It's horrible, and I don't hate anybody. That's where forgiveness comes in, and it ain't easy when you're against it day after day after day. And the fight in you is just coming up against the most cruelest unkindness you've ever felt in your life. I've been there, and I know how hard it is. And it's not going to make things that much better, but put it into perspective in the long run. Know that they're unkind because there's a reason behind it. Feel sorry for them, and you can smile. And I hope you feel a sense of warmth knowing that that's not who you are. Now, let's go to number 2. This is the hard one for me, so let's brace for impact. So here it comes. Integrity and ethics. Being a buyer, this is a really hard line I've had to balance for 30 years. And I've seen the worst of the worst. And I've gone to therapy because of the worst of the worst. But I've learned a lot from it. So let's talk about it. You want someone You want a management. You want them to have strong morals. You want them to have strong ethics. Here, let's give a definition, shall we? What is ethics? It is a set of moral principles, especially relating to or affirming a specified group, field, or form of conduct. You want a manager like that. You want a management team like that. That's professionalism. That is bringing into the world of business respect. And in the long run, isn't that what it's about? We want people to respect us, and we genuinely want to respect our management. I know for the majority of us, that's all we want to do. It's all about respect. And if we get that from them and we see that managers are behaving ethically, then that sets the precedence for us. In fact, we can even step it up a notch. That's what they do, and we're expected to follow them. We deserve to give them that respect and to respect ourselves as well. But let's take a trip to the dark side, shall we? There's the unethical managers out there. And when I say unethical, I'm really talking about some dark, dark things. In my tenure as a buyer, I have seen monetary bribes, or I've known of them. I have known of NFL football tickets with private boxes. I have known of very expensive gifts being shipped from overseas. I have also known of gift certificates of large dollar amounts sent to buyers for their favorite restaurant. And the one that really upsets me the most, and I will put this as nicely as I can, there are those managers out there who, for one reason or another, have personal, very personal bribes and personal benefits. I've known of them all. I can honestly say, looking into the camera and looking at all of you and talking to all of you, yes, I have gotten gifts as a buyer. But I can honestly say the gifts that I've gotten have never reached those limits. I was always the low buyer on the totem pole, and I couldn't be happier. I have gotten fruit baskets. I've gotten cookie trays. I've gotten, gift baskets with like popcorn and all kinds of things in it. And I can tell you, I have never kept one of those gifts to myself. I have shared those gifts with individuals in shipping and receiving, administrative support, front desk personnel, fellow employees in my departments. And there is no better pleasure that I get than sharing something from someone that says thank you than with people that I work with who work just as hard as I do, who feel the same way I do, who want to make a difference like I do. And they deserve to have a thank you as much as I do. When you have a management who is willing to sell themselves for materialistic things, they hurt the company and they hurt your team. And when the team sees that and knows it's going on, how does that make you feel? I know how I felt for many years, sitting back and watching it happen year after year. But now that I moved on, I can honestly say I have no regrets. Not a one. And I feel sorry for those people that are still doing it. No matter what type of favor it is, It's not worth your respect. It's not worth who you are. And I firmly believe that someday it's going to come back to haunt them. And if it doesn't, that's even sadder. Pathetic and not worth my time or my life any longer. So let's move on to number 3, which is competence. Okay. Gotta get a drink here. Hold on. Gotta get a drink. Okay. Competence. Now, we all kind of have a definition of what competence is, right? Whether it's management or wherever you are. I have seen, did you ever sit back? And I've seen this. I know you have. So let's go with it. I have seen the most incompetent people in management positions. And did you ever do this? You just sit there one day and go, how did this happen? What in the world just happened here? What am I saying? What am I doing wrong? How did this happen? Right? You've seen it. These people that are totally incompetent. They're the ones that I call book smart, social stupid, right? I mean, they are just really, they have no common sense about them. They are just talking to talk. You know what I mean? Like, you just feel like words are coming out of their mouth, and it's very dictatorship, right? You hear that. It's very dictatorship. They don't listen to anybody else's point of view. It's their way or the highway. It's not a team thing. It's me. I'm the leader. I've got the title. We're going to do this. I don't want to hear it. This is what we're doing. Do you ever have the ones too where you're in a meeting and you're talking about a topic, and most of the people in the room, they're involved in it, they know what's going on, but the leaders who are kind of out of it, like, they kind of stay on their own, but they want to pretend like they know what's going on just because it's what's expected of them. And then all of a sudden, you bring up stuff and they say something just like total out of left field. Like, you're like, where did that come from? The heck's he even talking about? Or is she even talking about it? That doesn't even pertain to what we're talking about here, right? Things like that end up causing more harm than good. And like I say, I'm not a poker face. I will never pretend to be a poker face. And when things like that happen, like I said, I just kind of get, see this look right here? Like, that kind of thing. That's me. Okay. The other thing that really, really bothers me, and I have to say I'm kind of living in the situation right now, but it's not really terrible. I'm tolerating it. But you have those managers too, when it comes to competence, is they really support the lazy employees, the ones that come and go as they please. You see them out there just kind of talking about anything, and the manager doesn't know what they do because they don't know what they're doing, and that employee's totally incompetent. They're not willing to learn. They're not willing to listen. And you end up wondering, what am I doing? I am busting my tail here. And I see this going on, and they're supporting these incompetent employees. And it just, takes the air out of your balloon. It's hard. But then you have those managers and that management team. They have a good education. And I'm not just talking about college. There are trade schools. There is the military. Everybody has different types of training. And even if it's nothing major, it doesn't even have to be years and years and years. That's not what I'm talking about. All of us always want to be learning something more, or we have a passion in us, that we want to drive it. So we go to educate ourselves more about it. And there are leaders out there who are genuinely educated and they're very experienced in, the whatever industry we're in, and they can definitely be a strong leader. They can give good guidance, you know, they can give good feedback and good support, and they're efficient and they're effective and they listen. They listen. And when they hear what you're saying, if it's a different perspective, they can step back and say, you got a point there. I get that. You got a point. Okay. And I go back to that common sense thing. Do they have common sense? A lot of times it doesn't take a lot to think through things and discuss things. And if it's something you don't know about or aren't fully educated about, don't pretend. It's okay. There are others out there. I know I'm not an expert. I'm no engineer. I'm a buyer. I've not had hands-on experience on parts and stuff. My goal is to rely on the engineers and the supplier quality engineers who have. They're my strength. They're my support. And in turn, I support them for what they don't know and what they need from me. And that's what a good manager does. You take the experience you have and you roll with it. Let them do their job. Let them do what they're paid to do and what they're good at doing. You don't have to pretend. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means that you're being a good leader and relying on those people you depend on to make that difference and to be efficient and to put your team moving forward. Do they stay focused? A good leader stays focused. They don't hop from here to here to here and then back here. And I've been in meetings before. The meetings have been an hour long and the most unproductive meetings I've ever been in my life. You get nothing accomplished. And I personally have to tell you, I am not a lover of meetings. And the reason being is when you're a buyer, inevitably, at the end of almost every meeting, you're given a task to do, or a couple at that. There's always something you're given to do, But I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. So sometimes meetings are productive, sometimes they aren't. But for the majority of the time, I truly believe it's really who you have, the competency of the leadership, who's guiding your team, who's willing to listen, who's willing to utilize what your team has, what your talents are, and rolls with it and let everybody do what they need to do. Trust them. Back to trust. Okay, and we are now at number 4, which is predictability. Okay, I told you I'd giggle a little bit about this one, but here's why. When I talk about predictability, I'm talking about, is your management, are they level-headed? When they listen to you, do you get that kind of you're just might as well just talk to the brick wall over here because it'd probably take in more information? Or are they really soaking it in? Are they being that sponge to listen to you? And are they always like that? Or are they kind of all over the place? Are they easily approachable? Are they always like that? You need a management like that. And I know managers are overwhelmed. We all are. The managers, I give a shout out to you. And this session today is not to blast you by any means, because I've been there in limited capacities and I've done it. And a lot of my friends have too. This is not a dig at any managers or management in any way, shape, or form. I respect all of you, especially middle management. You are between a rock and a hard place. And kudos goes to you. You have my respect. But predictability is very important. You can't have is their attitude is it all over the place? Or when you approach them, they're going to be the same every time. They're going to listen. They're going to be respectful. And dare I say they're going to care? Because there are ones out there that do. They genuinely do. Or do you have the opposite? Oh, right, I know. They're the ones that you're just kind of like, "Ah, oh my God, oh my gosh." Um, are they passive aggressive? Like you go up to them one time and they're like, yeah, right, I totally get it. And then the next time you go to see them, they're like, oh, oh, ah," right? I mean, those are the ones where, you just get that tingle down your spine, right? You don't even want to go near their office and you dread if you have to talk to them or approach them in any way. You never know what manager you're going to get. Oh, tell me that is not hard, right? I know, I'm with you. Totally with you on that one. Um, are they understanding? Like 1 minute, and then the next minute, they just rip you to shreds like there's no tomorrow, right? You just can't figure these managers out. You feel like you're walking on eggshells. Like, you're doing this like all the time. You know, like, oh my gosh, which one? Who's here today? Which one showed up today, right? Um, and another small thing, and maybe you don't think about it, but I do, is are they on a schedule? Are they dependable? And by dependable, I mean, do they come in at 9 and leave at 5? Or do they come in at 11 some days and then they're gone by 3? Or they come in at 9 some days and then they leave by 6? Or they kind of do this, you never know what they're going. They're just kind of like doing their own thing. And when you have a team that depends on you, it's hard, right? It's really hard to have a manager. So here we are. That is my synopsis of management, friend or foe. Now I'm going to go into opinion. I think our corporate world, they're very materialistic. They want a bottom line. All they look is at a dollar amount on a piece of paper. And we all know we're struggling. And it's going to be a challenging year for all of us, no doubt. We all know it. We're all feeling it already. And it's only January. But I have to tell you this. To all the managers and all the management out there, and to the employees who look up to them and rely on them. We're in this together. Managers are human beings just like we are. They have decided to take on a role that is not hard, or that is hard, that is hard, difficult, demanding, and challenging beyond belief. There are nights when we go home at the end of our shift, but it doesn't end for them. And they're fighting to keep us moving forward in a positive way and to make a difference and to go home to their families and to know that they're doing the best job they can to make a difference and to help us all get through one day at a time. So management, friend or foe, you could have either. Been there, done that. But try to look at things from a different perspective. I promise you, if you try to look at it from their perspective, I'm not saying your feelings aren't legit, but you may just see things from their perspective in a different light. Cut them some slack. They're having a hard time too, just like us. We're all the same. So with that being said, as I always end every episode, we can do this. We got this because we're doing it together. I wish you, my friends, the best. Please, if you're out there, stay safe. And for goodness sakes, please stay warm no matter where you are. We're all shivering together, right? So take care, my friends. We'll see you next